Hello guys, so today I want to talk about accepting that you're not completely invulnerable to failure and mistakes, um, and admitting your own downcomings. So last week I had to admit um, that I was struggling with my own mental health. My mental health did deteriorate in January, and my thing with my own mental health is that when I get anxious and I feel like I'm deteriorating, I try to control everything. So, for instance, my work project, I tried to control that. And it did cause some rifts within my mental health and well-being team that I'd created at work to better people's mental health. I was starting to let it take a negative effect on mine, so I had to admit to the team that I was struggling and apologise that I had maybe dismissed the ideas of the people in the group when actually that was the last thing I wanted to do. As I get overwhelmed, I try and control the environment around me. My anxiety was extremely high over the last few weeks, and it made me, grip harder. It's like when something's spinning out of control, you try and hold on as hard as you can, um, until it stops, but I could no longer bury my head in the sand. I had to be honest about how I was feeling. The temptation of alcohol was starting to come back because I was overwhelmed, but I had taken on too much in my personal life and too much in my work life. And I had to take a step back. And actually, I realised when I loosened my grip on some things, I could think a lot more clearer and I could actually focus on what I wanted to do. I took a couple of days back from the social media stuff. I stayed away from people, and I felt a lot better for it. And that's the thing, is that it's not a weakness to take a step back and think about things and to admit what's affecting you. No one's infallible. Like, you're gonna have days and weeks when your mental health isn't and your mood isn't quite as strong as it should be, or you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, or you fall behind on things, and that is okay. Admitting that you need help or admitting that you're struggling is your first step to get yourself back to where you need to be. I ain't where I need to be right now, but I know I will get there. But tightening my grip and my control over things, it's a knee-jerk reaction, but it's not the right way of dealing with things. It's an unhealthy coping mechanism. And I found that I do it more since I've given up alcohol and other things, because they were my fallback. They were my release. And although I released control on everything because I was intoxicated, it didn't fix things. It just hid the problem for a while. But now I'm sober, I have to find healthier ways to deal with these sort of situations, and tightening my grip on things is not one of them. One of my work colleagues read the email before I sent it out to the team, and she said that she was really impressed with how much I had grown in the last year and that I was admitting my faults. They say that when you're, especially with your professional setting, admitting your faults and your weaknesses is only going to put you backwards. But I would never want to work in a work environment that can't accept me for who I am. Maybe my mental health has held me back in my career, because I spoke the other day about being on your own journey and stuff, and maybe the decision to not make me a manager has been chosen because of my weakness, has been chosen because of my weaknesses, even though I know I'm strong enough to do it. I can no doubt that it does play on higher managers' minds that I do suffer with these things, and this social media channel may not help with that, because I am exposing myself to the whole world. But what's more important to me right now is actually getting awareness and helping other people. Even if these channels, even if these videos help one person, that's all I want. It's also a way of me having an outlet for things. Not every video is a golden nugget, but it gives me a chance to speak out about how I feel. And if that encourages someone else to speak out about how they feel, that can only be a good thing. But people need to speak out more. And they need to be able to speak up more at work. It needs to be a safe environment. Unfortunately, the corporate world is still as competitive as it was, and everybody is trying to get on, and they will use your weaknesses against you. But that doesn't mean that we should stop talking about it. That just means the corporate world and the workplace environment needs to change. The old school thinking that someone with mental health that may not be able to cope in a certain job is not right. Or someone that's struggling or admits their mistakes or admits their failures and admits they're not indestructible. That needs to change. The way we manage our people needs to change. We need to be there for them every step of the way, because don't forget that some people will be with companies for years. That's part of their life. If you can't be there for them in those environments, I don't understand the point. Yes, your personal and work life should be separate. But when a job takes up maybe a quarter of your day, or maybe 7 hours a day, or maybe 8 hours a day, or some people it's even 12, how can it not intertwine? And the people that are there with you for that amount of time, how can they not be there for you when you need them? Yeah, they might not be your friends, they might not be your family, you may just see them as work colleagues. And that's okay. But it doesn't stop with the fact that you're with them that amount of time. And also, if you're struggling and if you're failing and you can't talk about it at work, and something happens because you have a breakdown or you snap at someone because you're so tightly wound because everything is festering up inside you, what good is that to the company? And if we're constantly trying to outdo each other, what good is that to the company? Pull each other down. I think a work environment where everybody is cohesive and it works as a team will have a lot better returns. And I've built a really strong team at Fulham in the company that I work. And we have that sort of bond between us. I'm not expecting everyone to see me as their friend. I'm not expecting anyone to see me as their family or whatever. At the end of the day, we're colleagues. But just because they're your colleague doesn't mean you can't support them. I've messaged people on here that are doing well in their journeys or not doing so well in their journeys and tried to support them. I don't know them. I don't know them from Adam. But it doesn't stop me wanting to support them. You can lend a helping hand to a stranger. So you can definitely lend a helping hand to a colleague. But admitting your failures, and going back to what I was saying, admitting that you're not indestructible and accepting what you're going through will be huge in your recovery journey. And I know recovery is usually tempered around alcoholics, drug users, etc. But also it can be for mental health and for losing your sense of identity, losing your way. I see any journey that you're on, the road to be a better person is a road to recovery. Because you might be recovering who you once were. For some people, it might be on a road to be a better them that they've never been before. But the majority of it's recovery. So yeah. Don't be afraid to admit your mistakes, your flaws, or if you're struggling. There is help out there and you are not alone. Anyway, I hope you have a great day and a great mental health day, and I'll speak to you guys soon.